with the talks of Bioshock 4 being an open world game, we found an article talking about how being open world might sacrifice one of the best parts of the original game. With that topic, I wanted to dive into it with you guys because I know in the comments from the last Bioshock video we had, people did show some kind of concerns about it being an open world game, as far as also where the game would be set. So we're going to dive into all of that today. So again, the title of the article is Bioshock 4's open world game might sacrifice one of the best parts of the original game. Starts off by saying Bioshock 4 going open world wouldn't be a surprising decision, but it shouldn't come at the cost of what made the first game so memorable. Almost nothing has been revealed about Bioshock 4, but leaks have suggested that the game will take place in an open world set in Antarctica. It's a setting that video games have rarely explored, so a series known for its fantastic world building, heading there is understandably exciting to many. However, the open world direction could mean that one of the greatest aspects of the original Bioshock is lost. Bioshock 4 is rumored to be called Bioshock Isolation. It will be the first installment in this series since 2013's Bioshock Infinite. First announced in 2019, development is being headed by 2K studio Cloud Chamber. Additionally, original creator Ken Levine has confirmed that has no role in the project. These behind-the-scenes changes explain why Bioshock 4 seems to be taking a very different approach from the past games. This series so far has set an incredibly high bar for the newest title, so how this new direction is executed could make or break the game's greatness. Bioshock 4's Rapture is one of the most iconic game settings of all time. The underwater city balanced atmospheric horror created by masterful sound design, enemy encounters, and environmental art. With compelling storytelling, though both the progression of the story and the contextually placed audio diaries, coupled with some survival gameplay elements, it created a world that was tense and genuinely frightening at times, without becoming so focused on the fear that it detracts from the game. Part of what made that possible was the claustrophobic setting of Rapture itself. The dark corridors and collapsing structures added to a feeling that it was genuinely unnerving place to be stuck in. Bioshock 4 moving to an open world means that this kind of confinement is lost. This is further supported by job listings which suggest Bioshock 4 will feature an urban crowd system. That all sounds like a far cry from the unsettling solitude of 2007's Bioshock. That could mean that any attempt at the atmospheric horror in Bioshock 4 simply won't land as effectively. Of course, it's not the only time the series has made such a move. Bioshock Infinite heavily opened up its level design and tonally moved away from the horror-inspired elements of Bioshock and Bioshock 2, but this was thematically suited for the third game. The city of Columbia is mostly bright and boisterous, but clearly dangerous upon closer inspection. This presentation was a good reflection of ideas of American exceptionalism and religious motives as a facade for much darker truths. What's different now, however, is that Bioshock 4 sounds like it would be much better suited the atmosphere of the original game than of Infinite. It'd be pretty hard to have a more lonely, desolate setting on Earth than Antarctica. Even the rumored name of Bioshock Isolation suggests it might go for a more subdued approach than Bioshock Infinite, but an open world could make that much harder. If the spaces where missions take place are too open, then trying to create the tension and atmosphere of the first game will likely prove difficult. A feeling of isolation across the map is one thing many open world games do a good job of, making the player feel alone outside the cities, settlements, and buildings they contain, but it's hard to instill fear of what's around the corner. If there are no tight corners and corridors to speak of, likewise, if the previously linear audio logs are now scattered across an open map, the storytelling potentially could be hurt by the loss of context once they added it to the unsettling scene around them. So this article actually proves a really good point. When you played the original two Bioshock games, you were in a city underwater, which is already, going in the depths of the ocean can be pretty claustrophobic as it is, and then you're in these like tubes and dark areas and tight corridors like they said, and it creates this feeling of literally what's around the corner like they said. And so when you go into, say, an open world game, if you're not inside a building or you're just exploring outside, it takes away from that fear factor of what's in front of me. Now, setting it in Antarctica, I mean, if they're gonna have it where say that like that mission in Modern Warfare 2, the original one, where you climb the mountain with the snow and you can only see about 10 feet in front of you, if they can somehow create that kind of horror element in the snow. That'd be pretty cool. It does sound like it does sound pretty likely that they're going to do that. I mean, they're aiming for it to be called Bioshock Isolation, and they're putting it in the most like lonely place on the planet, which is Antarctica, I'd say. So it's definitely, an interesting topic. I want to know from you guys, as like a hardcore Bioshock fan, if you are, do you think that moving to an open world setting is really going to, make or break this title as far as what's going to get the fans excited about it again? I think a lot of the times, with a Bioshock game especially, they create these really cool worlds, but for a linear story, I feel like sometimes maybe people want some more out of it, or, want to just explore that world a little bit more and not just follow the story and then boom, I'm done with it. So me personally, I think an open world could work if they do it right. And I know those hardcore fans of the series are probably going to disagree with me, because Bioshock 1 and 2 are cult classics, and I feel like the fans are pretty adamant about, what they liked about those games. Let me know all your comments down below. Do you think a open world setting for Bioshock 4 is going to ruin it? Would you be excited to see an open world built in Antarctica? What do you think about the title? What do you think about the setting? That's going to do it for me today, guys. This may or may not be my last video. Past October 2nd, I'm getting married, so I'll be going away for 2 weeks for our honeymoon in California, so I probably won't have any videos up then, but hopefully when we get back, we're going to get the ball rolling again. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing here if you guys want to stay up to date on all the latest gaming news we cover, as well as just turn on that notification bell so you guys never miss an upload. As always, my name is Ross, and I will see you guys in the next video.